What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I've got some very bad news for Democrats. As a matter of fact, now we've talked about this a couple of times. I don't stay heavy-handed on this issue because, you know, Democrats are doing it to themselves. Their polling numbers have gone down again, as a matter of fact. Check this out, y'all. Revolt within the Democratic Party. CNN's Harry Enton says sirens should be going off in Chuck Schumer's office over disastrous polls. Now, we know that AOC, we believe Chuck Schumer is going to get primaried right out the door. AOC is coming in. She's actually got higher approval ratings as a congresswoman than Chuck Schumer does as a senator. Chuck Schumer's been there for years, folks. So this is crazy. Chuck Schumer is very unpopular, and I think I know why. I've got a video clip. I'm going to show you the clip with all the polling numbers and all that good stuff, so y'all stay tuned for that. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new around here and you want to stay up to date with issues like this. You stay in touch with politics and exactly how you're being manipulated by the corporate press. Make sure and smash that subscribe button. Turn on your notifications. And hey, if you enjoy it that much, we've got memberships, folks. That is right. But let's go ahead and get into this right quick, because I'm going to show you all that video clip and then we can discuss it later. But check it out, y'all. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton declared that there is a revolt within the Democratic Party and that sirens should be going off in Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's office over some disastrous polling results. Check this out, y'all.
Yeah, this, I think, is a revolt. A revolt that is going on within the Democratic Party right now, Democrats and their leaders. I mean, take a look nationally. Hello, Democrats on Dem leaders in Congress. The belief that they will do the right thing when it comes to the economy. Last year at this time, 80% believed that the Democratic leaders in Congress would do the right thing when it comes to the economy. And keep in mind, this is Democrats. Look at where we are now. That number has been slashed in half to just 39%. Holy Toledo, that is the lowest number by far in Gallup polling. The lowest previous was just 60%, which is 21 points higher than this. Democrats hate what their congressional leaders in Washington are doing right now on the key issue of the day, the economy, and their confidence has fallen through the floor, Mr. Berman.
All right, Chuck Schumer is the Senate Democratic leader right now. How are feelings about him, particularly in New York?
Yeah, let's go to the state of New York. It's what's always on my mind, right? We're in the state of New York right now. New York Democrats on Chuck Schumer view him favorably. In December of 2024, that was just a few months ago, it was 73%. Look at where that number has fallen to in just a few months. It is now down to just 52%. That is the lowest I could ever find in Siena College on how Democrats in Chuck Schumer's home state view him. And keep in mind, if you're thinking about a primary challenge, it would be a few years away. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's favorable rating among Democrats is considerably higher in the 60s. So he is doing quite poorly in his own home state of New York. I never thought I'd see the day in which just 52% of New York Democrats would view Chuck Schumer favorably. It's almost unfathomable.
Yeah, I like the footnote, the tiny footnote here. I think it will look much bigger to the Schumer team this morning as they look at that. When you're talking about Chuck Schumer, why? Is there an answer to your question? Is there an answer to the question of why his ratings dropped?
Yeah, it's because they simply put don't like the job he's doing as Senate leader. I mean, look at this. Should Schumer stay as Senate leader? Again, according to New York Democrats, just 50% say yes. Look at this number. 48% say no. This screams sirens should be going off. Primary challenge, primary challenge, primary challenge. When you're a Democrat in New York and these are your ratings, this is a big wake-up call if you're Chuck Schumer, John Berman.
Harry Enton, thank you very much.
A big wake-up call indeed. But check this out. New York Democrats were also polled by Marist University on whether they believe Schumer should remain the leader in the Senate. That number fell from 50% in 2024 to 48% this month. That was a little poll added in there by Mediaite, I guess. But I think I figured out why. Because, well, look, you know, Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the White House. There's nothing Democrats can do, right? And they're losing on all these issues. You look at Kilmar Abrego Garcia. They're absolutely like committing suicide on the hill of Kilmar Abrego Garcia on that one. They absolutely are. They are dying on that hill. These people they're willing to violate the Logan Act, which is basically you can't go outside the United States and try to speak on behalf of the United States say anything that goes against the administration in power, whatever their foreign policy is. Essentially, you can't advocate on behalf of the United States that goes against that. So that's basically, Democrats are riding that line by trying to go get Kilmar Abrego Garcia out of prison in El Salvador. So, I don't see the Trump administration going after them on that, but he probably could at least open an investigation to see what's going on with that. So they're losing on that. Donald Trump's poll ratings on immigration are freaking great. Right. And, the corporate press, they keep putting out all these polls. Oh, Trump's ratings are falling, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it fell 7 points, by the way, because of all these tariffs. That's where it's gone. Like, people just, they're scared. They don't know what to do. Right? They see all this trade war stuff going on, and they're just unsure. Everybody's unsure. I'm freaking unsure. I don't know how these tariffs are going to play out in the long run. Like, who does? Who really, really does? I mean, China's trying to play the bull over there, like, you're not going to take me down type of thing going on. And it's like, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that happens. Once we put the hurting on them, we'll see what happens. But something has to be done about the economy. But I'm not trying to dip off into that. We're talking about Democrats. And they can't do anything. So Democrats are pissed. They're absolutely pissed. They can't do anything in the House. They can't do anything in the Senate. And they don't have the White House. The only thing they have are these activist judges on the circuit. And they are doing anything and everything that they can to stop the Trump administration. Right? We just had a ruling by the Supreme Court recently that, Judge Boasberg, who's trying to still go for his contempt charges, that the judge should have known better not to make a ruling in that case, that case should have been in a completely different district, and he should have known better than that. And they are still trying to move forward with this very case right here. Yeah, Paula Zennis, Judge Boasberg, all that good nonsense, right? It is getting absurd out there. So these activist judges are doing everything they can, but most of everything that they're doing is getting overturned when it comes to the Supreme Court. We've got more rulings, right? Another activist judge. And you might say, well, he's a Bush-appointed judge that did that. Yeah, Donald Trump put out an executive order to basically restrict any transgender person that's showing symptoms of gender dysphoria. They can't enlist or serve in the military. That was an executive order. And it was just pertaining to transgender people, right? But this judge, in his deranged lunacy mode, said, no, we must allow, he made a nationwide decree that says we must allow all people, everybody, which is really insane. It might not sound insane right off the jump, but when you think about what all means, that means that they have to allow criminal aliens. That's all, everybody. MS-13 gang members that might be citizens of the United States, serial killers, paranoid delusion, schizophrenic people, psychopaths, all of it. The all means all, right? And that's what he said. It is blatantly insane. And I know that those two words really don't go together a whole hell of a lot, but I'm putting them together because screw it. Why the hell not? We've got so much going on right now, folks, and it's crazy out there. Like, Democrats, they keep, they get on, and the corporate press, they get on national television and say, oh, the Trump administration has induced a constitutional crisis, when it's really the activist judges that are ruling against the Trump administration for carrying out its duties under the Constitution. Just look, once again, the Supreme Court has overturned a lot of these already. So look at what he's doing. He's trying to deport criminal aliens, and they're saying that's illegal. He's trying to cut federal spending because, get this, folks, we're spending $1.8 trillion deficit spending, essentially, in the red, more than what we take in revenue. We get Doge to come in and make some cuts so we can try to get back to zero, to where we're not spending in a deficit, and Democrats spend money to sue the federal government to stop it from making spending cuts. And then what's so fascinating about that, it puts the cherry on top, is then they get on national television and say, the Trump administration is spending in a deficit. I thought they were fiscally responsible. It's the height of double standard hypocrisy, if you will. It's the height of that. And people can see this, right? If the people can break through the corporate press narrative, that is, and kind of get the truth a little bit, like what's going on with the tariffs. And this is what I'm trying to do, is show the manipulations of the corporate press on a constant basis, because they are heavily there, right? Like they'll tell you, oh, tariffs are a tax on you. Well, you know what? Not necessarily. Not all these companies are going to just take that whatever tax or whatever tariff that it is, 25%, 45%, whatever it may be. They may not just raise their prices by 45% or 25%. They may absorb some of that. And as for proof, right, I made a video a while back talking about Ferrari when Donald Trump imposed 25% auto tariffs on everybody, essentially. Ferrari announces they're raising their price by 10% because of the tariff. Well, hang on just a second. What does that tell you, folks? That means Ferrari is absorbing 15% of that tariff. And this is the message that I try to put out. And I get all these knuckleheads come into the comment section and say, you're stupid. And then go on, proceed to say, well, no, you take 10% and add the 25%, and that's 35% more for Ferraris. And I'm like, are you that dumb that you don't realize what you just said? I guess they are, but they are on the losing side on so many different levels that it's beyond belief. They are on the wrong side of history, folks, and history will bear this out. All Donald Trump is trying to do is get us back to where we were like 15, 20 years ago with this country, where law and order meant law and order, right? Criminals weren't a higher class of citizen than everybody else. It's insane what is going on. And once again, Democrats, they love criminals more than they love their constituents for some reason. They have no problem spending your tax dollars to fly to El Salvador just to go talk to a criminal alien, an MS-13 gang member that beat on his wife. That's absurd, the Kilmar Abrego Garcia story. It's ridiculous. Violate the Logan Act, all that stuff. So their polling numbers are showing it. And they have no inkling. They don't want to turn around. They don't want to do an about face. It's all Trump derangement, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with these people. It's Trump derangement, Trump derangement, Trump derangement. They cannot see that their actions make them look really, really, really bad. They cannot see that they are on the wrong side of history because they hate Donald Trump so freaking much. And I'm just loving it. I'm loving watching this, but it sucks for Democrats, as a matter of fact, because their party is in absolute chaos right now. And it's falling apart. It's splintered off into several different groups. You got the far left, you got the almost far left, then you have regular people that are just kind of left-leaning, that are they're like, I don't want none of this chaos at all. None of it. And you have a lot of people coming over to the other side. But, you know, and that's partially because of Democrats, that they're in a cult, if you will. Like I say Democrats, I'm sorry, I'm apologize to some Democrats. The far left are in a cult. We'll put it that way. If you don't agree totally 100%, all of a sudden you're far right. You're a right-wing extremist. No. That's not how the political spectrum works, folks. That is absolutely not how that works. Just because you're not far left doesn't mean that you're far right. There is this thing called a centrist, where you're kind of in the middle. You don't have all the views of the right. You do kind of, you know, maybe you want secure borders, right? Maybe you want fiscal responsibility, but you also think that we should have some sort of universal basic income, and maybe you also think that, you know, abortions should be legal up to a certain point. But if you think that there should be some restrictions on abortion, you're far right, according to the far left. And that's all there is to it. And people don't want to fall into camps like that. People don't like Marxism. Marxism puts you in a box where you might not even belong. And people don't like that, folks. People absolutely don't like that. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate that. And subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hey, look, I'm trying to do my thing over here. I'm just a dude who installs glass for a living and runs my mouth. Right? Of course, I don't really make money off of this. But I love running my mouth on the internet. It's fun. I'll put it that way. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Subscribe, smash the like button, share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section, because I'd love to hear from you guys. And y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.